Let me run down his resume. Indy 500 champion, Champ Car champion, daddy. He's run the 12 Hours of Sebring, and he's also the Grand Marshal of Sebring, Bobby Rahal. Welcome, Bobby.
Thanks. Great to be with you.
Of all those credentials, which one is most significant? Indy 500 champion, kart champion, Sebring champion, or daddy?
Yeah, well, obviously daddy, especially, with Graham doing so well, but and all my kids. But from the racing side, I've told people this. They kind of look at me kind of weird, but Sebring 12 Hour to me emotionally was the biggest win in my career, mainly because I grew up at this circuit watching my dad race in the 60s and the 70s, and anybody who is anybody in racing has raced at this race, and the history and the tradition is just something else.
All right, Bobby, I've been to Super Bowls with my dad. I've been to world champion heavyweight fights with my dad. You got to figure, Graham, he's getting into racing, but is there anything else that someday you're going to just pull him aside and say, this is the tastiest deal you could ever get, partner?
Well, I think he's going to go a lot further than I ever did in racing. So I think I'm going to be in his draft a long time, I think. And as long as he lets me go to the races, it was easy for me. My dad raced only as an amateur, so there was no expectation. But for him and guys like Marco Andretti's kid or Michael's kid, Marco, and Al Unser Jr.'s son, and there's a lot on these young guys' shoulders, and it works to have the name, but there's a lot of expectation too.
We bring Bobby Rahal back on the set, but we bring his little bitty baby.
He ain't little, man.
Hey, I know it. That sounds happy.
He was never a little bitty.
Would you please
He's 6'3",
welcome
right?
Yeah.
next to his dad, Bobby Rahal, Graham Rahal. Thanks for coming in here, Graham.
Thank you.
Graham Rahal, of course, Star Mazda pilot. And what I'm learning about these Star Mazda cars, Graham, is these things are tougher to drive than the Atlantics and the Infiniti Pro Series, which prepares you better to make that step up. And what I equivocate that to is the guys who have the bats, they put the donuts on there before they go to swing, and they pick the bat up. Man, that's lighter. I can swing it better. Is that an analogy that you could go by?
Well, certainly. I mean, I think the reason it's harder to drive is we don't quite have as much aerodynamics to the car. Also brake and tire. So just as it's faster than an Atlanta car, you have to be able to drive the thing. It likes to slide around a lot, and you have to be able to control that, and that teaches you how to basically go up and drive an Atlanta car or something else, because once you get more aero and more brake, you can, you've already driven something that fast, but now you can handle that.
That's the mechanics of the deal. But so much for these little midget trolls and mini-me guys driving cars. You're like 6'7", man. Look at you, man. You should be playing basketball, man. Instead you're in a cockpit. That's badass.
Yeah, it's tight, that's for sure, but we do what we have to do to get it done. So as tight as it is.
You're from the Midwest, though. Can you dunk?
No, I cannot. No.
White man can't jump?
No, certainly not.
Wait a minute. When I think of Bobby Rahal, I think of mustache. Mm-hmm. Two of you look enough alike. Is there going to be a mustache on that face?
No, never.
Never?
Never a mustache.
How could you not have? You look at this every day in your life. How could you not plan for one?
It fits him, but certainly not me. I mean, I think he's making up for something here.
Oh, see.
And I don't have to do that. So
Now this guy.
Respect or what?
That's not cool, man. The guy just got done saying you're going to be better than he ever was in the car, and you're bagging on his noodle? Come on now.
No, I didn't say he looked bad. I mean, that's
Don't
the
clean
way
it up
he looks.
now, Graham. It's too late.
No, he's
it's
a
on
good-looking
TV now. You're deep now.
So that Indy 500 ride has now been moved back a couple more years.
That's all right.
No, but seriously, Bobby, you've got Danica, you've got Buddy Rice, and now obviously Graham coming up through the ranks. They're all hipsters. Are they keeping you young?
Oh, absolutely. It's especially with this guy and Danica. And Buddy's so laid back. Buddy's the epitome of cool, I think. But yeah, I think racing keeps you young. I really do. And I'm 52. I don't feel like I'm not sure what I feel like, but I'm 52.
Didn't Buddy make you wear your hat backwards for the first time in your life?
Pretty much so. And it was the funny part of that was when he signed up with us. I said, okay, that might have worked with your old sponsor. That doesn't work with the new one. And of course, you can't change the guy, and he'd walk around with his hat backwards. And so at Indy, it was just fitting there in Victory Circle to do the same.
Dude, I ran into Britney Spears, and she saw you put that hat backwards, and she was instantly attracted to you, man.
I'll give you my number.
Bobby, you heard us talking about those topics earlier. And granted, the Star Mazda is an affordable open-wheel series.
Yeah.
Where do you draw the line with sponsorship on the side of your cars?
Well, I said earlier, green is good. I mean, it takes cash to run these things. But I think the only thing I wouldn't want to see is like political advertising. But aside from that, I mean, all's fair in love and war.
Bob, you're the first guy. You put Danica in a car. Would it be cool to see the Rahal, Patrick, seriously, feminine product toboggan out there?
Tampax toboggan.
Tampax, the pink car, man.
Well, I have no problem with that.
And now we got Graham Rahal back on the SpeedFreaks.
16-year-old Graham Rahal.
Yeah.
Ooh, just got your regular license.
Star Mazda
Yep.
pilot. Look at what Kyle Busch is doing. Look at what these younger guys are doing. Vickers, cats like that. How do you look at those guys, man? Granted, it's NASCAR, but how do you look at those guys?
Certainly, I mean, I respect those guys a lot. They've done everything that I've had to do and any other guy has to do. Obviously, they're farther along in their career, but basically, they're pretty close to my age, and I respect them a lot. I mean, it takes a lot of work to get where they're at. No matter how good people think they are or anything else, they've got to be good because it takes a lot of work. And NASCAR takes nothing away from that. It's maybe, I wouldn't say it's easier to get into NASCAR, but there's certainly more openings. There's more cars, stuff like that.
More dollars right now.
Yeah, exactly. Sponsors are more interested in NASCAR than they are Champ Car or anything else. But certainly it's difficult for anybody to get into their spots.
Dad talked about maybe having a sports car team next year. Michael McDowell won the Formula Mazda Championship last year and went to sports cars. Is that something that might be in your future?
Certainly. I mean, sports car has always been my favorite thing, over Champ Car, over
Really?
IRL, over
Now,
anything.
there's a statement. There we go.
That's a brilliant kid.
Whether it's Grand Am or ALMS, when I grew up, it was just one series, so I didn't know the difference. But I mean,
There are guys like Andy Wallace who do both.
exactly. Yeah, I mean that's certainly something we're looking at as well, and I think it's definitely something I want to do. But it just takes a challenge to get there still. And it still might not be running for Dad's team. It might be running for someone else. But sports cars is definitely somewhere I'd like to go.
Dude, at 16 years old, I was pretty much useless. At 16, you're going to be a
Still are.
All right,
Sorry,
I am
buddy.
now, but let's be honest, I'm consistent. But you're like, when you go to school now, do you go to school, regular school and all that? And how does it affect you being like the badass race car driver with the girls, man?
Well, I go to just a public school. It's pretty small
Graham
town. where we live.
Rahal goes to public school.
Yeah, I'm a normal kid. I don't act any different. I don't even talk about myself racing at all. Most people in my school don't know at all.
You were missing an opportunity, man. I'd been bragging like crazy, and I don't even do anything.
Graham Rahal here in the SpeedFreaks pits, and we kicked your dad out of here because we want to spend a little alone time with you. But I saw you two in the pits after your run, and he wasn't reprimanding you, but he was saying, Graham, if you're in the pack, back off a little bit. And I kind of saw your face, dad and son relationship.
It's just like anything else. You got your soccer parents, baseball parents, and just have your racing parents, I guess. But he knows a lot more than just an everyday racing parent. Well, that was all about because in practice I got caught in a group and I didn't back off and all this other stuff. And you get caught in a lot of groups in this series with a lot of cars. So
I had a hard time when I was growing up taking anything from my dad. I know now that was a giant insanity on my part. Is it hard for you to listen to Dad, no matter his experience in racing, and take it to heart because that's Dad?
It's hard. I don't. As much as he'd hate to hear this, I don't like listening to him. But that's just how it is.
Nice.